What if I told you that the most popular spray can in America, sitting in 4 out of every 5 households right now, is quietly destroying the very things you're spraying it on, and the company selling over 1 million cans a week knows full well that their product was never designed to do what you think it does? Here's what most people miss. WD-40 was created in 1953 inside a tiny San Diego lab by a self-taught chemist named Norman Larson, and it took him 40 attempts to get the formula right. The name literally stands for water displacement, 40th formula. It was built to protect the outer skin of Atlas nuclear missiles from rust and corrosion. Not to lubricate your bike chain, not to fix your front door lock. Convair, the aerospace contractor, was the first to use it, and their employees believed in it so much they snuck cans out of the plant in their lunchboxes. That product was a solvent-based water displacer, and that distinction has been costing people real money and real headaches for over 70 years. Here's what this video is really about. I'm going to walk you through 4 things WD-40 actively damages or makes worse, things you've probably sprayed it on this month. Then I'll give you 3 uses where this stuff is genuinely unbeatable, where the old-timers and the pros reach for it every single time. One of these damage items involves a part of your home you trust to keep your family safe, and the number 1 entry on this list could put your home at serious risk. And the perfect uses? One of them works so well it feels like a magic trick. Hit that subscribe button because every week we post videos that cut through the marketing noise and show you what actually works. Here are 4 things WD-40 damages or makes worse, ranked from surprising to absolutely dangerous. Number 4, bike chains. The quick spray that strips your drivetrain bare, but every cyclist has done this. You hear a squeak, you see a little surface rust, and you grab the blue and yellow can from the shelf. Feels right, sounds right. The squeak goes away for about 10 minutes. Then something worse happens. WD-40 is primarily a solvent. When you spray it on your bike chain, it doesn't just sit on top and lubricate. It actively strips away any existing lubricant that was already protecting your chain, and then it evaporates. What you're left with is bare metal on metal. That's not a lubrication job, that's a demolition job. Every mechanic who's torn down a neglected drivetrain knows it. You end up with a chain that's drier and more vulnerable than if you'd never sprayed anything at all. The testing backs this up. REI's own expert advice page states plainly that they do not recommend using WD-40 on your bike. It is a cleaner, not a lubricant. That distinction matters because a proper chain lube is formulated to stay put, to resist wash-off in wet conditions, and to reduce friction over hundreds of miles. WD-40 washes off fast, leaving you with a squeaky, unprotected chain exactly when you need lubrication most, in the rain, on a long ride, in the conditions where chain wear accelerates fastest. Here's how to actually use it. If your chain is genuinely filthy, you can use WD-40 as a one-time degreaser to strip off old grime, but you must follow it immediately with a dedicated bike chain lubricant designed for the task. That's the step most people skip. They spray, they ride, and 3 weeks later, they're buying a new chain and wondering what happened. Why does this keep happening? Because the can says lubricant on it, because it's probably in your garage right now, and reaching for it feels easier than buying a specialized product. The marketing has been so effective for so long that even the company itself now sells bike-specific lubes formulated completely differently from the original product. Think about that. They had to make a separate product because the original one doesn't do the job. If you're running a road bike, a mountain bike, or even a basic commuter, the chain you've got right now deserves something better than what's sitting on that shelf. Number 3, plastic and rubber components. The invisible breakdown you won't notice until it's too late. This one is sneaky, and it's the entry that catches the most people off guard. WD-40 contains petroleum-based solvents, and those solvents react with polymers at the molecular level. When you spray WD-40 on plastic, it doesn't just sit on the surface, it penetrates. It interacts with the polymer chains inside the material. Over time, it softens certain plastics, making them brittle and prone to cracking. Orlando Penner, a building manufacturing expert and owner of South Country Sheds, put it bluntly: don't use WD-40 on plastic components under stress, like window tracks or drawer slides made from polycarbonate or acrylic. It tends to soften certain plastics, making them brittle. He's seen prefab cabinet hinges degrade after someone tried fixing a squeak with it. Every contractor who's dealt with this knows it. Rubber gets hit just as hard. The solvents in WD-40 cause rubber seals, gaskets, and O-rings to swell, weaken, and eventually break down entirely. That rubber seal around your garden hose fitting, that O-ring inside your pressure washer, spray them with WD-40 and you're accelerating their failure. Here's the part that makes this truly costly. Electronics contain plastic components inside that you can't see and can't easily replace. Spray WD-40 into a stuck button or a squeaky hinge on a device with an internal plastic housing, and you're introducing solvents to parts you'll never be able to inspect until they fail. The field results confirm it. Here's how to actually use it. If you need to lubricate a plastic track, a rubber seal, or any component that contains polymer materials, use a silicone-based lubricant. Silicone sprays are chemically inert to both plastic and rubber. They lubricate without degrading the material. The company itself actually makes one. WD40 Specialist Silicone Lubricant is specifically designed for rubber and plastic parts. That tells you everything you need to know about what the original formula does to those same materials. Why does this get overlooked? Because WD-40 works so well on metal that people assume it works on everything. Nobody reads the back of the can. Nobody thinks about what window tracks are made of before they spray. And by the time the plastic cracks or the rubber seal fails, nobody connects it back to that quick spray they did 6 months ago. You've probably got rubber and plastic components in your kitchen, your bathroom, and your workshop right now that are one careless spray away from trouble. If you're starting to see the pattern, if you're realizing that the most trusted spray can in America was never designed to do half the things people use it for, do me a favor and hit that like button. It helps this reach people who actually want to know the truth about the products they use every day, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you belong here. Number 2. Door locks. The quick fix that glues your lock shut from the inside. This is the one that locksmiths have been warning people about for decades, and homeowners keep doing it anyway. You've got a sticky deadbolt or a key that's getting harder to turn. You grab the WD-40, give the keyhole a blast, work the key back and forth, and for about a day, maybe 2, it feels smooth again. Then it gets worse than it was before. Here's what's happening inside your lock. WD-40 is an oily solvent, and when you spray it into a lock cylinder, it coats the pins, springs, and wafers inside. For a few hours, that thin film reduces friction, but as the solvent evaporates, it leaves behind a sticky, oily residue. That residue attracts dust, dirt, and fine debris that float through the air constantly. Inside the tight tolerances of a lock cylinder, that debris mixes with the residue and the whole thing starts to gum up. The pros who rebuild locks see this constantly. The residue oxidizes over time, turning into a gummy varnish that can actually glue the pins together. You sprayed something to make your lock smoother, and the chemical reaction inside the lock is literally bonding the components to each other. In some cases, this leads to keys becoming difficult to turn, getting stuck in the lock, or snapping under pressure. That's not a squeaky door problem anymore. That's a locksmith bill or a full lock replacement on your front door, the one thing standing between your family and the outside world. The numbers don't lie. Here's how to actually use it. Graphite powder is what locksmiths have been using for generations. It's a dry lubricant. It reduces friction between the metal pins without leaving any wet residue to attract debris. It doesn't evaporate, it doesn't oxidize, and it doesn't wash away over time. A single application of graphite powder into your keyhole lasts longer than a dozen WD-40 treatments, and actually improves with use as the graphite works its way into the mechanism. Why does this mistake keep happening? Because WD-40 has been the answer to everything for 70 years. Because nobody thinks to ask what happens inside a lock after the solvent evaporates, and because the can is probably sitting on a shelf in your garage right now, 3 feet from your front door, making it the easiest wrong answer you'll ever reach for. Number 1. Gas appliances and flammable areas. The spray that could burn your house down. This is not an exaggeration. This is not alarmist. This is the single most dangerous misuse of WD-40, and it happens in kitchens and utility rooms every single day across this country. WD-40 is a petroleum-based product. Its primary ingredient is a petroleum solvent. It is highly flammable, and people spray it on and around gas stoves, gas furnaces, gas water heaters, and gas dryers without a second thought. Thomas Borcherding, a contractor and owner of Homestar Design Remodel, could not have been more direct about this. WD-40 is highly flammable and should not be used around gas-powered fixtures such as gas stoves, gas-powered furnaces, or gas-powered water heaters. That's a licensed contractor telling you to keep this product away from anything with an open flame or a pilot light. Every fire professional who's investigated a kitchen incident knows it. When you spray WD-40 on a stuck burner grate, a stiff oven hinge, or a seized valve near a gas line, you're depositing a flammable petroleum film on surfaces that are inches from ignition sources. The propellant in the aerosol can is itself flammable. The mist hangs in the air. A pilot light you forgot about, a spark from a furnace igniter, even static discharge can ignite the vapor. This extends beyond the kitchen. Any area with electrical components or potential spark sources becomes a hazard zone when you introduce WD-40 aerosol. Enclosed spaces amplify the risk because the vapor concentrates instead of dissipating. The safety data is unambiguous on this. Here's how to actually use it. If you have a stuck component on a gas appliance, shut off the gas supply, ventilate the area completely, and use a non-flammable lubricant rated for high-temperature applications. White lithium grease or a food-safe silicone lubricant handles oven hinges and burner assemblies without introducing a fire risk. Why does this keep happening? Because the can looks safe, because it sits next to your toolbox like any other household product, because nobody reads the warning label when they're frustrated with a stuck burner at 6 in the evening, and because 4 out of 5 American households have a can of this stuff, which means 4 out of 5 households have a flammable petroleum solvent within arm's reach of their kitchen stove. That's probably your kitchen right now. Now here's the flip side, 3 things WD-40 does better than anything else on the market. First, removing stubborn stickers, tape residue, and gum. Spray it on, wait 30 seconds, wipe it clean. The solvents that make it wrong for plastic and rubber make it perfect for dissolving adhesives on glass, metal, and hard surfaces. Crayon on your wall, gum on your shoe, price tag residue on a gift. Nothing else touches it. Second, protecting and cleaning metal garden tools. This is what WD-40 was born to do. Water displacement and corrosion prevention on bare metal. Spray your shovels, pruning shears, and hedge trimmers after every use. A quick coat before winter storage means they come out ready in spring instead of rusted solid. Third, loosening rusted and stuck bolts and nuts. Spray it on the bonded parts, wait a few minutes, and the solvents penetrate the corrosion and break the oxidation bond. This is WD-40 in its element, doing exactly what 40 attempts in a San Diego lab designed it to do. If you made it all the way to the end, you've just learned something most people never will. WD-40 is an incredible product, but only when you use it where it actually belongs, and keep it far away from the places where it causes damage. Smash that like button if this changed how you think about that blue and yellow can. Drop a comment and tell me which one surprised you most. Team door locks, team plastic and rubber, team gas appliances. I read every comment. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. I'd love to have you on this journey with us. Remember, sometimes the best tool for the job isn't the one that's been sitting in your garage for 20 years. Sometimes it's the one the pros have been reaching for all along, waiting for you to ask the right question.